Most people will never escape from being broke. Not because they don't have the potential, but because you keep making the same mistakes over and over again. They think that they're working hard, but really you're just, and this was me, I thought that I was working hard, but really I was just stuck in this cash-eating monster cycle. You think that you're doing everything right, but you're not, and you're stuck. And if you don't recognize it, if you don't recognize the traps that keep you broke, you'll never really escape from being broke. I've seen it firsthand by the people I surround myself with. I mean, I've seen it myself. Like, you're working your ass off, but you're still struggling. You're looking at the bank account and you're like, what the hell? Like, I'm burning down the house here with the amount of work that I'm doing, but the bank account is not changing. In this video, I'm gonna break down the 5 biggest reasons why 90% of people stay broke, and more importantly, what you can do to break free from this cycle. And then you can start building some real wealth. Let's get into it. I get out of the military, and the first thing I do, well, I contract, and then I break into my first business in 2013. I literally thought, I'm like, I am going to be a millionaire within a year. I was like, I got this thing in the bag. I'm gonna figure this thing out. And one business quickly turned into 7 businesses. Some of you guys have heard me talk about that. So I figured that if I just had more businesses, more income streams, mean more money. I just ran myself into the freaking ground. I was just doing too much. I was spread way too thin. This whole thinking that more was more. Well, more was gonna make more. And that just wasn't the case. I actually made less, and I was more stressed out. I was getting unhealthy. I was gaining weight in the places I didn't need to gain weight. And the reality was everything was half-assed. I wasn't full-assing anything. And you need to go full-ass if you're gonna make some money. I was just constantly overwhelmed. So I was, working hard, but I wasn't working smart. And when I started to work smart, that's when things really changed. So the biggest reason people stay broke really is because they're grinding, they're moving fast, but effort without strategy and focus is just wasted energy. It wasn't until I cut out 5 of the businesses that I was working on and focused on the ones that really had the potential to hit 7 and 8 figures is when things turned around for me. I became hyper-focused on 3 businesses and scaling the systems between those businesses, and that's when Johnny Slicks became an 8-figure business. That's when the Agoge became a 7-figure business. It wasn't because of doing more, it was because actually it was doing a lot less, but a lot better. The first reason people stay broke is that they're stuck in the mindset of trading time for money. I mean, when you're trading time for money, you're in essentially a fixed income. You have your hourly wage, or you've got a salary job, and it's a complete limit on your potential. So no matter if you work 8 hours, you're making X amount of money, and there's nothing that you can do. So because of that, your time is finite, meaning your money is completely capped. That was one of the things for me that was in the military. Like, I was only able to do so much. You're in the military industrial complex. Like, my rank goes up sometimes, depending on who I piss off or not. And so my money is fixed. My success was fixed in the military. And the same thing with if you're working for some business, at some point you're capped with what you can do, and you're constantly trading your time for a paycheck. The truth is, the wealthy don't trade time for money. They build assets and systems. That's when things started to pivot for me. So when I first got out of the military, I thought the key to financial success was just working harder. I had an incredibly hard work ethic. So I thought, well, hell, I'm just gonna outwork everybody. What do they say? The hardest worker in the room. I'm gonna be the freaking hardest worker in the room, and let's go get this thing. And I did. So I took on every opportunity. Man, I was doing everything. So I had my own businesses, but if somebody came to me and was like, Nick, you've got a fulfillment center, you can do fulfillment, you have customer service, I'll pay you X money to be able to do this. So I did. I was like, I'll do, and what's crazy is I was doing fulfillment for some of the beginning of some of the brands that you probably actually know. If someone needed help with X, Y, and Z, hey, I want to run this event, can you help us market this? Can you do this? I was just saying yes to everything. I had only a certain amount of hours. Every single time I said yes, I became more and more thinned out of what I actually capable to do on my actual businesses that had true potential to change my life, to change my family's life. Like I said, I was completely burning out, gaining weight. The game really changed when I learned how to scale my income streams. Businesses that made money when I wasn't even when I wasn't working. Now I have businesses that make me money while I'm sleeping, while I'm on vacation. That's when I started creating different streams of digital products, building my brands, and then truly leveraging systems and leveraging teams. The second reason why 90% of you guys that are watching this stay broke is you're living beyond your means. You're trading time for money, you get X amount of dollars, and the system is set up for you to fail. Let's be honest. The mortgage companies are gonna give you a mortgage for 36 to 40% of your income, monthly income. Same thing with credit cards, same thing with your auto loan. So they're going to max you out. So by the time you do your car, you do your mortgage, you do your utilities and food and all these other little things that you want, you're gonna be living paycheck to paycheck. And then what does that force you to do? Boom, time for money. I gotta go to work, I gotta do this thing. I can't take a vacation because I can't afford to be off, etc. Because I got to make the next month's bills. It's sad that majority of Americans are living paycheck to paycheck. So you spend every single dollar you make, or worse, you spend money you don't even have via credit cards and Affirm and all these, Klarna and all these different things that they're going to give you. Most people increase their lifestyle as soon as their income increases. So you're financing cars, you're financing clothes, you're financing vacations, but you're not investing. And the reality is you cannot save yourself to wealth. It's just a reality. You cannot save yourself to wealth. The reality is wealthy people buy assets. Broke people buy liabilities. I've been this guy. I was the guy making six figures. Remember, I'm the guy who filed bankruptcy. I was in the military. I made good money there. I made contracting. I made good money there. Lost it all. Started a business. Lost everything. Filed bankruptcy. I mean, I've been through the ringer, so I've done all the bad things. But now I got smart. Became financially literate. You cannot live beyond your means. Like straight up. Like rule number 1/10 of what you make has to go to savings and investments. Period. You live off 9/10. If you can't do that, you're never going to change your life. You're never going to change your financial income. 10% non-negotiable goes out the window. So you have to live within your means. That means maybe you don't need that nice car. Maybe you don't need the luxury stuff. Maybe you don't need to use the credit card, or you're using the credit card and you're paying it off the statement balance every single month. So back when I was like living paycheck to paycheck, I was like dumbfounded of why my situation was what it was. The reality is, I was broke before. So, you start making a little money and you're like, oh, wow, I'm making money. I can keep up and I can buy these different things and I don't have to really stress about it because I know that the paycheck's coming on the first. It hit me one day that if this faucet gets turned off, I'm fucked. And that's when I realized I needed to build a system and I had to start living within my means, saving and investing at a minimum of 10%. Real wealth is built when you keep your expenses low while still growing your income. Reason number three, people do not develop high value skills. You go to school, you graduate the 12th grade, maybe you go to college, and then people stop learning right there. They think education is done. So they get a job and then they kind of just get capped out. And the reality is we have to continue to learn. We have to continue to develop ourselves until the day we die. I did the same thing. I didn't get coaching. I didn't continue my education up until a certain point. And then all of a sudden I got this bug. I just realized the people that stay broke stay financially illiterate. And they stay illiterate on a lot of different things in the world. That's when I said, okay, I'm gonna turn into the forever student. I am gonna act like I don't know anything and I'm just gonna learn as much as I can. And that's when I got coaching. That's when I started to read different books, The Richest Man in Babylon, The Wealthy Investor, etc. Because I realized that my skills weren't directly tied to making money in business. So I had to learn marketing. I had to learn sales. I had to learn branding. I had to become, even though I was, a leader in special operations, I had to learn real, true leadership in the business world, in my family, because that's where the real money is made. If you want to escape from being broke, ask yourself, what high value skills am I developing right now? And if you're not, then you need to actually start developing some skills, become financially literate, level up your communication, level up your leadership, level up your ability to sell things. So reason number 4, risk avoidance. 100%. The reason why 90% of people stay broke, they're scared to take risks because of, they want to stay in their comfort zone. And the truth is the comfort is the enemy of growth, but it's even more than that. It's because of the naysayers. It's because your friends, your mom, all these people that come before you are like, no, you need to just put your head down, clock in, clock out, invest in that retirement account. And then eventually it's at 65, you can have the potential to retire and live off that. And the reality is Social Security ain't it. And that retirement account, by the time you factor in inflation over the next period of however many decades it takes you to get 65, you're still going to have to work. So you have put in all this time and effort, and you did the safe route, you did what everybody told you to do, and then you get to 65 and you're like, shit, the economy is garbage, everything costs more money. So what I planned for this time and what I put in there over this period of time is not even truly enough to live my life. Plus, shit, man, you're 65, and I'm not saying 65 is old by no means, because I'm a lot closer to 65 than I am somewhere else. The reality is, why are you gonna, I don't want to wait till I'm 65 to start living my life. I want to start living my life now. I want to make money now. So I'm willing to take the risk. Yes, have I lost money in some areas? Absolutely. But because I've taken risk consistently and I've invested, not save, I've invested in myself and into other assets, not liabilities, I've become extremely more financially wealthy. And I will continue to. Over a period of time, the snowball effect is happening where now I will continue to become wealthy. So wealth is built by taking calculated risk. All right. You're not going to go ask a bricklayer on what stocks or crypto to do. You're going to ask a financial guy. You're not going to go ask a jeweler on how to build a house. You go to the right people for the right things. So most people fear failure more than they actually want success. And that comfort zone will keep you broke. And again, I've lost money. I've made bad investments, but guess what? That's how I've learned. And if you're afraid to fail, then you're afraid to win. Every wealthy person I know took risk. It takes a risk to build a business. It takes a risk to invest in something. But again, the more you learn, the more you take those tuition payments, the more that you are taking calculated risk, not reckless ones. And when you do those, they pay off over time. You're not going to win every time, but it's about law of averages. And then over a period of time, you will win. It's just about doing the damn thing every single time, staying on the game. Legitimately, this is number 5, but this might be the biggest one that you fail. Is the majority of people fail in building wealth is because you don't have a plan. You don't have a wealth strategy. One of the studies here, this is actually a study according to Charles Schwab, Modern Wealth Survey, only 33% of Americans have written a financial plan. However, those with that plan are more likely to exhibit healthy savings and investing habits. However, only a small percentage of those people actually follow through with that plan. Another study found that households with financial plans that execute them are 2.5 times more likely to save enough for retirement compared to those without one. So that's just a plan there. And then this just breaks my heart, man. And this is where America's at. And this is the reason why 90% of the people are broke. This is the reason why 90% of people are living paycheck to paycheck. The lack of financial planning is associated with financial instability. And the data shows that 69% of households have less than $1,000 in emergency savings. And 66% of millennials have no retirement savings whatsoever. While a minority of individuals maintain a written financial plan, those who do are substantially more likely to achieve financial success compared to those who do not. Guys, money doesn't come by accident. It comes by design. And if you don't have a financial roadmap, you're just going to drift aimlessly. Every dollar should have a job, either working for you or building wealth. So now, like for me personally, yes, I was working hard, but I had no structure. The real change came when I actually created a system and created financial targets for myself. And I changed my brain from a consuming aspect to an investor and asset builder. I'm more interested in having assets and living off my assets. And a business is an asset as well, especially when it's predictable, it's growing, you know exactly what you can do with it year after year. But I created clear financial goals. I created systems, and I started to track everything just like I do in my fitness. I just became neurotic about tracking my money, tracking my investments, where I'm putting money into it. I created a plan of where I wanted to be by the time I was 50 years old, and I execute that plan every single day. And guys, if you can do that, and you can start by simply putting 1/10 of what you earn, non-negotiable. If a deposit comes into your bank account, 10% of that goes somewhere else, period. And once you build that up, then you start getting into investments and you make those dollars work for you. To wrap this thing up, I want you to do these 5 things. Stop trading time for money. Live below your means and invest wisely. Start becoming financially literate. Develop high-value skills. Take very calculated risks. Your network is your net worth on that one. The people that are around you, if I surround myself with millionaires, then I am gonna do what they do. And those individuals, those wealthy individuals become more wealthy because of the risk and because of the calculated risk they have. Who are you taking advice from? Be careful who you're taking advice from and go seek out the people that are taking these calculated risks and actually have a proof of concept that are doing it, that are winning. And then you and your significant other have a clear financial plan. Now, guys, I'm gonna throw an offer out here. I just wrapped up 13 lessons on the Agoge Wealth Code. So if you join the Agoge, there's 4 phases in the Agoge. Hear me out. If you've made it to the end of this video, you need to hear me. Phase 1 is mastering yourself. It's creating the discipline in yourself, getting rid of these bad habits that really cause financial weakness in your life. Phase 2 is leading your family, getting your family on a plan. You and your wife having an elite level marriage. Guys being on the same page, and then developing a plan for your children as well. And then phase 3 is the Agoge Wealth Code. We talk about budgeting. We talk about debts and non-negotiables. We talk about how to improve or fix and repair your credit. Coming from a guy who was bankrupt and rebuilt to an 800 credit score. And then also a guy who lost everything and then built 2 8-figure businesses and a 7-figure business. So there's nothing in this thing that I'm teaching that I haven't done. And then phase 4 is going to be your dynasty, your legacy. How do we create more leaders from yourself? March 1st, I'm launching, which this video will already have dropped. March 1st, I'm launching phase 3 in the Agoge. So there's a link below that you can join the Agoge community. It's $69 a month. That's $69 a month. Even if you're only in there for 1 month and you do phase 3, could radically change your life. So that's my call to action. If you're living paycheck to paycheck, if you're not living the way that you're supposed to be living, if your relationship's not the way that it needs to be, then you need to get into the Agoge community for a period of time. Get this education, become financially literate so you can absolutely change your life. Guys, remember to hit the like button. If this provided value for you, or you can hit the dislike button. I think they got rid of that, but you can do that too. And then please subscribe to this channel and share this with a friend who needs to hear this. If you don't mind, I love seeing your guys' comments. Go drop a comment below. What's the one thing that you're going to change first? And I reply to every single one. We'll see you in the comment section, and we'll see you in the Agoge. Peace.